You've just stepped into the Caring Corner, where life's caregiving challenges meet a whole lot of heart and a dash of sass. I'm Michelle O'Neill, and I'm here to serve up insights, inspiration, and real life tools to help you navigate caring for your kids and aging loved ones without forgetting about you. Expect everything from time management hacks and emotional wellness strategies to technology tips sprinkled with humor and tenacity. Are you ready? Let's get to it. How many times have you swallowed your words when you wanted to say, this ain't working, or I can't keep doing this, or even, I need time for myself? Maybe you were afraid of being judged or causing some type of tension, or maybe you convinced yourself that it was easier to stay silent. But the truth is that when you don't speak up, its weight doesn't go away. It just becomes heavier, and it doesn't just impact you. It ripples out into every part of your life and every person who you touch. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on why so many of us stay silent when we shouldn't. I'll explore the fears and the guilt that keeps us from speaking up, the hidden cost of silence, and how to start having those honest conversations without feeling like the bad one. Staying silent does not help anyone, not you, not your loved ones, and definitely not your emotional well-being. Hi, I'm Michelle O'Neill, your host and emotional wellness coach. And I am so glad that you're here with me today on the Caring Corner. So let's hop right on in, right? So let me ask you something. How many times have you swallowed your words because it just felt easier? Maybe you thought, I don't want to bother anyone, or it's not worth the argument, or maybe, just maybe, you've convinced yourself that asking for help would make you seem weak. I see it all the time. For so many of us, speaking up feels like stepping on eggshells. What if it makes things worse? What if they don't respond the way that you need them to? And sometimes we're afraid of what speaking up may reveal, that we're more overwhelmed than we let on, or that can be scary, right? And sometimes we're afraid of what speaking up might really reveal, that we're more overwhelmed than we let on. And that can be scary, right? To admit even to yourself that you're at your limit. In fact, you're probably over your limit. You surpass that. And really, judgment is a big one. Maybe you're worried that your family or your friends will think you're selfish for saying no or asking for help, or that they'll see you as less capable. There's this unspoken pressure to be the one who has it all together, especially as women. Let's be real. We're supposed to just handle it, no questions asked. So instead, what do? You stay silent and keep carrying the burden. Here's the thing. It's not just other people's judgment that holds us back. It's your own. You start telling yourself stories like, if I really love them, I'd just figure it out, right? Or I'm the strong one. I should be able to handle this. Those stories are heavy stories to carry, and over time, they're what keeps you stuck in that silence. I remember talking to one woman who was juggling caring for her mother while raising two kids and running a business. And she was stretched. I mean, really stretched to the max, but wouldn't even ask her siblings to step in. When I asked why, she said, I don't want them to think I'm failing. But here's what happened. The more she stayed silent, the more resentment started creeping in. Resentment towards her siblings for not helping, and even towards her mom, which broke her heart. And that's just it. When you stay quiet, it doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the relationships that you're trying to protect. So, if staying silent isn't the answer, what's the cost of continuing to carry everything on your own? Let's talk about what silence is really costing you physically, emotionally, and even in your relationships. Okay, so when you keep silent, the weight doesn't just go away, it builds. You take on more and more until one day you're snapping at the kids or crying in the car because you can't figure out how to do it all. Sounds familiar? The resentment creeps in toward the people you're caring for, your family, and even yourself. And that's exhausting. It's not just emotional, it's physical. Your body feels it, the headaches, the sleepless nights, the constant tension in your shoulders, all of it. And what about the relationships that you're trying so hard to protect? When you avoid conflict or hold back your feelings, you think you're keeping the peace. But the truth is that avoiding those hard conversations now often leads to blow-ups later. You've been stuffing it down for so long that it all comes out at once. And then you're left feeling like the bad one, even though all you really want was some help, some understanding, or even just a little acknowledgement and recognition. I've seen it happen over and over. A woman I worked with told me how she held her frustration in for years trying to be the good daughter. But one day her mom made a comment, something small, it wasn't that big, and she exploded. She regretted it instantly, right away. But by then the damage was done, and she said to me, if I'd just spoken up sooner, maybe it wouldn't have come out like it did. Once those words are out of your mouth, you cannot pull them. We don't talk about this enough. When you don't speak up, you're not just protecting yourself from conflict, you're robbing others of the chance to help. Think about it. Your family and your friends may not even realize how much you're carrying. They're not mind readers. And sometimes they're just waiting for you to say, I need you. I had another client who finally told her siblings she couldn't keep handling all the doctor's appointments for her dad. She expected pushback, but instead her brother said, why didn't you tell me sooner? I would have stepped in, and it hit her. She'd been carrying all that weight alone, not because no one cared, but because she'd never asked. So, what do we do about it? How do we start having those hard conversations without feeling selfish or making things worse? Let's talk about how to break the silence and communicate our needs with grace and confidence. We want to start with clarity. If you don't know what you need, how can anyone else know? Before you have the conversation, take a moment to get really clear on what you need yourself. What's overwhelming you most? Is it the logistics, like running all the errands and scheduling appointments? Or is it the emotional, feeling like no one really sees what you're carrying or that they don't care? Maybe you just need an hour to yourself on Sundays to breathe. Whatever it is, be specific. The clearer you are about your needs, the easier it will be to communicate them, and the more likely you are to get the help you need. How about this one? Use I statements. I'm sure you probably already know this, but I want to reiterate it because this one is big. When you start the conversations, lead with the I statement. It shifts the focus from blame to how you're feeling. For example, instead of saying, "You never helped, mom," try with, "I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately and I need some extra support." See the difference? One invites understanding and the other can feel like an attack. This simple shift can completely change the tone of the conversation and make it easier for the other person to hear you without getting defensive. But speaking up isn't just about talking. What about practicing active listening? When you express your needs, give the other person space to respond. And this one is a hard one for me. I know it's hard. Maybe they've been wanting to help but didn't know how, or maybe they're dealing with their own challenges and you just don't know. Be open to the dialogue. Sometimes the solution you come up with together are better than anything you could have imagined on your own. It's about creating a partnership, not a one sided demand. And what about reframe asking for help? I want to talk about this idea of asking for help. Are you with me? Because I know it can feel like you're putting your burden on someone else. But what if you thought of it differently? What if asking for help wasn't about dumping your problems on someone else, but about inviting them into your caregiving journey? It's not just about lightening your load, it's about building connection, creating a shared sense of responsibility, and letting the people who care about you show up for you in meaningful ways. I've had clients who were shocked when they finally asked for help and found out that their family actually wanted to be more involved. They just didn't know how, or they were waiting for permission. So when you ask, you're not just meeting your needs, you're giving others the chance to feel included and valued too. Let me paint this picture for you. Say your siblings have been sitting on the sidelines while you've been handling everything for dad, right? And instead of saying, "Why aren't you helping?" You could say, "Look, I've been juggling a lot lately, and I'd love it if you could take over the grocery shopping for the next month. It would make a huge difference for me." Now you've given them a clear role, grocery shopping, and it's framed as a request, not a complaint. So speaking up isn't about being selfish or causing conflict. It's about creating space for support, connection, balance, and harmony. And trust me, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Now, let's wrap this up with some final thoughts and ways to start small today. Whew. Well, speaking up isn't about being the heavy. It's about being honest with yourself and with the people you care about. When you express your needs, you're not just asking for help. You're showing that you value yourself enough to say, "I matter too." And in doing that, you're also creating space for deeper, more honest relationships with the people who love you. Remember, silence doesn't serve anyone. Not you, not the people you're caring for, and not the relationships that you're trying so hard to protect. When you speak up, you're giving others the chance to step in, to show up, and to strengthen the bonds that you share. I'm going to say it again. It's essential. This week, I want to challenge you to take one small step. Have one honest conversation about what you need, whether it's asking for help with caregiving, carving out time for yourself, or just letting someone know how you're really feeling. Start small, but start. And if you're feeling nervous about it, I got you. My 3 minutes of calm guided meditation. If you don't have it already, you should. It's the perfect way to ground yourself before you take that step. And if you're ready for more personalized support, if you want to dive deeper into finding your voice and creating harmony back into your life, book a call with me. Together, we can figure this out. You don't have to carry it alone. Your voice deserves to be heard, and you deserve to be supported. Until next time, take care. Speak out. Bye-bye. All right, that's a wrap for today at the Caring Corner. We've tackled some big topics, but remember, you're not in this alone. Subscribe to keep the wisdom and warmth coming, and stay tuned for amazing guests who'll be joining us to help round out your caregiving toolkit. Catch you next time, and keep conquering those challenges.